All right, let's dive right into this because what we're looking at today in this explainer is an absolute heavyweight title fight. Welcome to our deep dive into the 2026 World Cup semifinal happening right now in Dallas, Texas. When France and Spain step out onto that pitch, it is going to be so much more than just a game of football. We are talking about a massive collision of totally contrasting managerial philosophies, a story of radical tactical reinvention, and honestly, a brutal battle against extreme environmental elements. So you kind of have to ask yourself this massive question heading into the match. How do you actually beat a team that has completely had your number? How do you overcome the ghosts of your own recent, really painful past? Because for France lately, Spain has been this completely unsolvable puzzle. Over the last 2 years, whenever these two European giants have clashed when it actually matters most, well, the outcome has just been total heartbreak for the French. Just look at this timeline. It shows exactly what France is up against here. Back in July 2024, Spain ended France's Euro campaign with a 2-1 victory over in Munich. Then, fast forward to June 2025, they met again in the Nations League semifinal, and Spain triumphed in this incredibly chaotic 5-4 thriller. And now, July 2026, they meet again on literally the sport's biggest stage. It's the ultimate rematch, and honestly, the stakes could not possibly be higher.
All right, Section 1, Battle of the Minds, a clash of managers.
To really understand this matchup, we've got to look at the touchline, because the sheer contrast between the two men leading these nations is fascinating. It's night and day. On one side, you've got Didier Deschamps, right? He's a global football celebrity who basically inherits these generational superstars and constantly reorganizes them to win. But then on the other side, you've got Luis de la Fuente. He's a grassroots builder. He hasn't relied on inheriting ready-made stars. He literally built them himself from the ground up over a 13-year span.
Let's start with Deschamps for a second. I mean, his resume is absolutely staggering. He won the World Cup as a captain back in 1998. 20 years later, he won it as a manager in 2018, which puts him in a wildly exclusive club. In 2022, he took France to the final again. And now here we are in 2026, and he's just 2 wins away from an unprecedented 3rd consecutive World Cup final. Think about that. He is chasing a specific piece of history that literally no manager has ever touched.
Now compare that to Luis de la Fuente. His path is the exact opposite. He didn't just drop into a high-profile senior role. He earned it through the youth ranks. He won the Under-19 European Championship in 2015, the Under-21 Championship in 2019, and then grabbed an Olympic silver in 2020. And the crazy part? He's doing it with the exact same players. Guys like Miguel Merino, Unai Simon, Fabian Ruiz. He shepherded them from teenagers to senior World Cup semifinalists. This is literally a 13-year project coming to a massive climax. And you know, his personality perfectly reflects that patient developmental background. De La Fuente is famously discreet. He has absolutely no social media presence. He's a man driven by immense faith, both in his religion, as he says of his pre-match routine, it is not superstition, it's faith. But perhaps more importantly, he has this immense, unwavering faith in the youth players he has personally trusted and developed for well over a decade.
But hey, having faith isn't going to be enough when you're playing a team that's bagged 16 tournament goals. That brings us to Section 2, Battle of Tactics, France's reinvention.
To really get why France looks the way they do today, we actually have to go back to that Euro 2024 defeat. Kylian Mbappé honestly hit the nail on the head when he said, "They played well and we weren't good enough. We have to move on." Spain entirely exposed France in Munich. France was way too reactive, relying almost entirely on rapid transitions while completely conceding possession. And that loss, it was a massive wake-up call that sparked a 2-year, top-to-bottom tactical rebuild.
So, what did Deschamps actually do? Well, old France used a 4-3-3 formation that just invited pressure. But after taking another wake-up call loss to Italy in September 2024, Deschamps boldly shifted things around to a 4-2-3-1. Now, new France doesn't just sit back and wait. They hold this patient, cohesive possession. The result? They've been the most devastating attacking force at this World Cup, racking up 16 goals so far. When you tune into the match tonight, you've really got to keep an eye on these specific micro-narratives on the pitch. Michael Olise has been brought in as the new playmaker, providing some vital balance and covering massive ground. Then you've got Desiree Doué and Ousmane Dembélé bringing incredible momentum right from PSG. And Mbappé? He is working harder than ever off the ball to press the opposition. Combine all of that with a defensive line that has conceded only a single goal in their last 5 matches, and you basically have a perfectly balanced machine.
But France and Spain aren't just playing each other tonight, they're playing the environment. Welcome to Section 3, Battle of the Elements, Surviving the Texas Heat.
Yeah, you are reading that number correctly. 35 degrees Celsius for an 8 p.m. kickoff. Dallas isn't just hosting a match, it is providing an absolute furnace. You know, in a tournament spread across Canada, Mexico, and the US, the environmental footprints vary wildly. And this one, it's going to be brutal.
To understand why this is so terrifying for the medical staffs, we need to talk about WBGT, or wet bulb globe temperature. This is the gold standard index for sports scientists because it doesn't just measure pure heat. It factors in humidity, wind speed, and radiation. Basically, it tells us the actual physical thermal stress being put on a player's body. Look at the data from the group draws. France has been dealt one of the most punishing, absolute thermal schedules in the entire 2026 World Cup. They are facing a maximum temperature risk of 27.7 WBGT. That is a continuous, taxing heat trap that accelerates physiological fatigue dramatically. It's like playing in a sauna.
Because of this, medical staffs can't just toss them a water bottle and hope for the best. They have to use highly specific, actionable sports science to prevent physiological failure. We're going to see them maximizing FIFA's mandated 3-minute cooling breaks at the 22nd and 67th minutes. We'll see ice towels wrapped directly around the player's carotid arteries, guys drinking ice slurries to drop their core temperature internally, all relying on the 10 to 14 days of dedicated heat acclimation they went through before the tournament even started. This isn't just football anymore. It's a battle of biology.
All right, we've got the history, we've got the tactics, and we've got the scorching heat. That brings us to Section 4, the final showdown. Let's look at the hard numbers. How do the odds actually stack up in a true Goliath versus Goliath matchup? Well, the betting markets show France as the slight favorite to qualify at 8-13, with Spain sitting at 13-10. Spain has had to battle really hard to squeak past Portugal and Belgium with 1-goal victories, while France has just looked utterly devastating in the final third. Out on the pitch, both teams are expected to run a mirror match 4-2-3-1 formation. You've got an incredibly solid French backline featuring Upamecano and Saliba, but man, look at that attacking clash. France has Mbappé flanked by Dembélé and Dua, while Spain is fielding their 17-year-old sensation Lamine Yamal right alongside Dani Olmo. The pure talent density on this pitch is just mind-blowing. Now, if you're looking for a specific breaking point tonight, here is your red flag. Watch Spain's right flank. Pedro Porro has committed 7 fouls in just 4 matches this tournament. He had a pretty rough domestic season with Tottenham, picking up 10 yellow cards, and now he has to face the blazing speed of players like Doué or Barcola out wide. If France can isolate him, I'm telling you, that could absolutely be the breaking point of the match. So what does this all mean? We have an unbelievable tactical chess match being played inside a literal Texas furnace. Will Didier Deschamps overcome the ghosts of 2024 and capture a piece of World Cup history that no manager has ever achieved? Or will Luis de la Fuente's quiet, faith-driven 13-year project with this exact group of players culminate in ultimate glory? It is the perfect storm. Watch closely, because what happens in Dallas tonight is going to be studied for decades. Thanks for exploring this explainer with us, and enjoy the match.